back to the land of stun dogs and dirty old furred hot rods. Well, you guys remember the last video I did where I went and delicately removed this old furred from the snow. Well, now she's back on the road. She's tip top. There's almost registration on it. Well, not really. It identifies registration. Well, now we're gonna go do some welding with it. I had to get her going there. What for pulling this trailer? I don't like using that old furred because every time I go to use the old furred to pull this trailer, I got to pull the crane off and the vise off every time I go to use it. Well, clearly it ripped the crane off, but it kind of rallies the vise, and it's just a pain in the ass. So I mean, it's way easier to pull this hot rod out of the snowbank and get her up to speed. A few minor repairs. Had to replace a wheel cylinder for the brakes in the back. Oh yeah, she's got back brakes, kinda. I threw some chains on it. I did a real proper job of ratchet strapping the fuel tank back up. I mean, a ratchet strap is a fuel tank strap if it's doing fuel tank strap stuff. So yeah, that's how you know it's good. Had to do a little bit of wiring because all the wiring was ripped up from chains and the rest of it, because I mean, you're not gonna bag it. So being how we're gonna stay south of the river, well, that means that DOT regulations aren't really applicable to this kind of stuff. You know, it's kind of like being in international waters, kind of right by the dump. So we got all this stuff tied down. So instead of tying it down with a ratchet strap, I prayed that it would stay there. So that means that if Jesus can take the wheel, he can hold the gas powered chop saw down. Oh man, we got everything here. Got Cosby sauce.
My barbecue sauce.
I mean, for safety, we use the seat belt and the Tagger torch whip to hold the propane oxy down, and the seat belt to hold that in. So if we do roll over, everything stays inside the cab.
Large quantities of both liquid and vapor are released in a powerful explosion.
Around here, safety might not be first, but it's definitely like a 6th, 7th, or an 8th, or 20th, or something like that. So it's there. It's just not number one. Because I don't know if any of you guys work for a union or a shop where safety is first, but the dog is unreal. Alrighty, so just gotta load up my swamper here, and we're gonna hit the dusty trails. Oh yeah, it's always nice to have a helping hand. G-Dale, home of the Rubber Foot and Fist race team. Alrighty, well, she was like about -5 this morning Celsius, so it's pretty much warm. And now I heard the neighbor idling his truck all day, so now she's about 0 out. So Greta, that's the way she goes. Let's see if the old 7 tree is going to start today. She's got functioning glow plug, and she always did start mint. I think before it just didn't have much for 1202 in her. Let's just see what happens here. She'll be fine. Oh, what a treat. Man, these old furds are loyal. Got a high idler right out of the gates. Warming up for a solid like minute and a half. Let's go welding. You don't need a certificate to know what you're doing. Yesterday, or the air filter minder, and let me tell you guys something. She's plugged right off. So like as hard as you want to floor it, it just pours out black smoke and barely moves. So she's perfect. You don't need to worry about blasting down county road with chains on. You know it's good. And when every synchro's gone on the you just power or rake shift every gear. That's fine. Which brings me to another point about this old furred.
Don't smoke crack.
This old furred, not only has she been loyal as the day is long, after all the beatings I've given her, it donated its good for my other truck, for my Crummins there. I pulled the out of this because it had a reman in it when I bought it. And threw it in there, and now it gave up its own. The other Crummins could have a brand new in it. So, I mean, this truck's got it all. Alrighty, well, made her to the neighbors, just burnt all the diesel and the truck was barely moving, but I mean, that's how it goes. Alright, let's get to welding. I identify as a certified welder. Well, there's the machine in question. I come over here last night and shoveled her out with the old rickshaw so we could get in there to weld on her. Man, the old rickshaw is just a sturdy plow. For all you guys are saying that the old rickshaw couldn't plow for shit. Well, look at that mint job. When we get up here, turn around, I'll just straight her up and get the work. You don't need four-wheel drive when you got chains on.
The intelligence level of the custodial is so low that they cannot be taught even these fundamental life requirements.
Alright, well, we got her backed in. Might as well set the poles up. Alrighty, well, she's old. Let's see if she can still get it up. Oh, yeah, bud. What a treat. Like, the welds are pretty old, so I don't stand underneath the whole thing the whole time, but man. Alright, well, we got the pole stand. So this is the problem. The end of the tie rod broke off for the knuckle here. So all we're gonna have to do is put that all back together, weld the living of it, and give her all the way. I guess this has been welded once before, but the guy clearly, I guess he's a professional welder, not some hillbilly that just wants to burn rod into it until it blows up. So we're just gonna burn rod into it until it blows up. All I'm gonna do is kind of stick it in there, tack her up, gouge her all out on the front and the back, and then weld the living. Before we do all that, let's get her high. Oh, nice safety sling that the neighbor threw out, probably at the dump. Well, I think it was on the way to the dump. Guess you know what, we'll just hook right to there. Don't even need a sling. So we're gonna shut the old fur down, what we're needing her to be in gear. You can shut it off high idling, they like that. You hear the turbo? It's loving it. Alright, let's see if she goes up. So this thing hasn't been used in like 5 years, and I haven't checked to see if any of those clevises are tight, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Is it froze to the ground? I think it's froze to the ground a little bit. Yeah, a little bit, I mean all of it. Oh yeah, she's wheeling. How much wheelie? All of it. Well, it's lifting the thing, but it just seems to be really, really heavy. I think it's frozen on the backside. The old nipple truck got this, but yeah, she's froze to the ground. So we're just gonna pick up the axle maybe. Picking at a weird angle too, you know. We'll see if the old axle will do it. That really goes to show you the power of hydraulics, because this thing could probably just manhandle itself. I mean, a smart guy would fire it up and run the hydraulics, but I don't think you're dealing with one of those. He said it starts, hasn't been running in a while. It's gonna be a fucking old start, cold start too. What a treat. All right, let's just see if we can lift this axle up.
Never stand in the bight of a line or stand near a line that's coming under tension.
I'm in danger.
This thing is not light. I'm gonna guess the forks are froze to the ground. Yeah, the forks are definitely froze to the ground, but I think, whoa, get up my butt. Oh, that one get up my butt. All right, so we're good there. We got all the floppy we need. Oh, alrighty. So that's good enough. I mean, that's safe. Alrighty, so let's roll the way this way and make sure we can get in there and grind at her. We're good to go. Yeah, alrighty, well, let's get to grinding. Yeah, you can see where Buddy kind of half-ass welded it. It looks like it broke on this side of his last weld, and then I don't know what he used to weld that, but then it broke off on this side of the other weld, so we're gonna have to clean up both of them sides. See, we got green grass in Canada. It's just under 2 feet of snow. You know what the hardest part about dealing with tangled up welding cables is? Trying to find somebody else to blame it on. I mean, this definitely wasn't my fault. 2023. Accountability wasn't even around in 2022. Let's see if the old Honda's gonna fire up. That I have no doubt. I love Honda. Oh, first hole. So I found this vise at Princess Auto the other day. Welded her to a quick pedestal. I mean, it's not the biggest vise in the world, but better than getting a job from a chick with one tooth. So you see Buddy welded her up there a little bit. So I'm just gonna buff all them welds off.
I'll be able to buff this out, no problem.
A hole, like a V in the backside here, a V in the backside there, so it barely makes contact on this side, and weld the living of it. I'm gonna tack weld it, like I'll clean it up with the grinder. I'm gonna tack weld it, and then because the tack weld it ain't gonna do all, but then I'll heat the living out of it. I don't know if it's cast steel or what it is, but anyhow, we're gonna heat the living out of it, make sure she's nice and toasty warm, and then we'll go ahead and lay the weld to it. Alrighty, there's two sides of the grinder. There's the cutting side and the WCB side. We're gonna rock the WCB side a little bit here.
What the was that?
Alrighty, for all you professional welders in the comment section that are about to be commenting, when it comes to a job like this, there was two options that this minty feller that owns the land has. A, let my hillbilly ass come over here and take a stab at it. Or B, he had to buy the whole axle, I guess. Or he doesn't know where he could find parts for this thing or whatnot. I don't know what the problem is. So it's either pay a guy in dirty old wood slabs and beer.
A lifetime supply of
Bush Light
beer. Ah, just took it to my veins!
You know, maybe a few HJs behind the wood pile. Or get absolutely bent over by some part supplier. So we might as well give her a stabbing. All right, so you see in here, where he was welding, it's just full of porosity and bull. So I'm gonna guess, and also the welding rod that he used is pretty hard. I'm gonna guess it was some kind of nye rod, but what we're gonna do,
We're gonna put some D's in some A's.
is essentially stick this guy in here like so, and then I'm gonna cut this one back so it's a bit of a V. So pretty much all the surface area, we might even cut this V a little bit deeper as well. So all of this surface area is gonna be brand new weld, and then we'll grind it down so it looks pretty. And then I got a few other tricks up my sleeve that we might just do. Mark that, and mark that.
Hey, I'm Peg, and if you don't have a Letterman wave, then you.
Only professional here. So yeah, so we'll cut that off, make sure she can still kind of sit there on those on what's left of the original casting, and then weld her in there. You know, shit's getting serious when I got gloves on, but you can kind of see how we're barely making contact there, but it's still keeping the same form. But the V here, we can bring her out a little bit farther before we start to hit the inside. So you're gonna want to have maximum penetration with your weld there, is what I'm trying to say. We'll just grind this down a little bit, and we should be good to weld. Alrighty, so you see how that V's all minty? This side's all good. So we're gonna tack her up, make sure everything's gonna fit, and then lay the heat to her. So you can see there, we just got her tacked up, and now we're gonna lay a load of heat to this thing, get her all warmed up so she's even, and then we're gonna fill that crack with some nye rod. Alrighty, well I got the old Tigger torch on cruise control here. We're not gonna light the tire on fire, but that's probably not free. And gonna let her heat her up minty. And while she's doing that, we'll leave her on cruise control while I go practice a little bit with that nye rod. And if you don't like Tigger torch, you gotta go lay down. These are built in Berta. That's right, oil Berta. And My granddad had the same Tiger torch that he passed down to me, and they still make the same one, but now they got a rubber grip. I mean, they make good. Go get yourself a Tiger. They actually sent me this one like 4 or 5 years ago, before the channel got even big at all. I don't even know how long ago it was actually, but they're mint. Well, for all you fellas that don't know how to weld cast iron, I don't know how to weld cast either. I don't even know if that's in cast iron, cast steel, or whatever the it may be. So, my rod is nickel rod. It's got a high nickel content, I guess. And when you're welding on cast iron, it needs to be able to expand and contract with the heat that goes through it. So going up and down. So I guess what nylon does, it has the right properties to allow the material to expand and contract without cracking. So obviously, by how bad I just burnt my finger there, you're able to tell that it's nice and hot. So now, just go ahead on the back side. Always do your hardest side first, and then weld it out of it. So I think the heat's a little too hot. So what we're just gonna do is just run some passes down it. I know you're supposed to weld up, but we're doing good anyway. It'll hold. So what I've done here basically is got us back to square one. I've built this whole thing up. So all I did is I welded it, I ran a pass, and then chipped it. Welded it, chipped it, and it just kept going and going and going until it's built all the way back up. Now we'll go ahead and do the same thing on this side. So yeah, run a pass up. So I run down one side, up the other, buff it out, make sure it looks good. Down, upside, buff it out, make sure it looks good. I just keep doing that over and over and over again until you get something that looks kind of like that. So go ahead and feast your eyes on that fat stack of instant ground nickel weld. What do you say, Toby? The truth.
Looks like
It does look like. And then it's almost literally a stack of nickels. Yeah, and so you're just gonna keep burning and burning and burning until it looks good. I mean, it ain't pretty, but I'd get drunk enough to it. So anyhow, we're back to square one now. This guy's back in there. So all I'm gonna do now is just shave her down with the old flapper disc so she's back to how she was looking before. We got her looking about good enough to go to auction, but this fella's gonna be beating on this machine. So this is where form has to off and function has to come into play.
Hey, man.
So what I'm gonna do, meow, is make sure this guy all fits, make sure everything's better than good. And as I was flapper wheeling it and making it look like it was ready to go to the sale, I noticed that you'll see how it's been wearing into here and it's been bouncing around inside of there for a while. So I'm gonna guess the nut backed off a little while ago and I just didn't notice it. And then that is what led to the failure. Alrighty, well, that's been heating. Oh, that right there, man. Well, that's been heating for a while, meow. Get rid of this guy. So meow, go ahead and take this chunk of steel we got and weld her on the back side here. Make sure she's nice and true and straight. And then we'll start heating the out of it, bending the out of it, and make her way all around. I wish you guys were here to smell this. That old generator's got a bunch of race gas in it. Well, it's actually aviation fuel from my buddy Blake. And man, it smells like I'm at the racetrack right now. It's just a treat. So what we're gonna do, meow.
I'm sorry, are you saying meow?
Am I saying meow?
Since it's tacked here, it's tacked at the bottom and tacked here, we're just gonna heat her up and start beating her around the corner. Alrighty, well before you ask, go ahead and comment on how small my torch is. It's not how big the torch is, it's how you use it.
You suck pussy, okay?
Apparently I can't use it. So you can kind of see what we're going for, meow. This piece is probably going to break off again if this didn't have this gusset. This gusset is going to tie the whole thing together.
They really tied the room together.
And that's mild steel, so mild steel's pretty, you know, it'll be fine. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna fill a bunch of weld in here, do a bunch of grinding, and then add some more weld because that's what you do. Well, would you just look at that?
Look at that, look at that.
Just looking like an Instagram weld.
Nice and shiny.
But we're not done yet. We got that all dialed in, that band's all good. So now we gotta do that a washer and weld that in. A better and allegedly handsomer man than myself once says, a grinder and paint makes you the welder you ain't. All right, so what we're gonna do now is drop this washer in the snow so it's even harder to weld. And we're gonna line her up on the hole here just as best we can and weld this in. Can I get a fucking... Oh, yeah! I guess I did go a little hard with the grinder, but that looks pretty good. Like, that looks real good. With this bolted back on there, and without a keen eye, you'd never even know that some hillbilly welded that up. All right, so now to appease the cast gods, what we're gonna wanna do is just put the Tigger torch back on there, heat everything back up so she's all up to the same temp, and then let her cool down nice and slow. She's been cooking for a while. Everything's good and heated up, so we'll go ahead and shut that off, get rid of the torch, let her cool down all evenly and whatnot. No, we're not gonna put any welding blankets on and all the rest of that stuff, because the only blanket I got is my dump pants, and it ain't getting them. And I keep getting these comments in the comment section. Somebody keeps saying, Peg is the best guy to ever in these pants. And I says, well, you don't know that. I found these things at the dump. It could have been a way better guy than me to pants. Did you just assume who my pants? That's unacceptable nowadays. You're not allowed to assume somebody's pants. Well, we're gonna let that cool down for a little while before we go and stick the dangle in there. It sounds like a time for a cold start. So allegedly is that between my procrastination on coming over here and fixing it and my buddy, the half-breed Hutterite, that was supposed to come by here and weld this thing up. Oh, you might have seen him on such films as How to Weld a Tailgate On. Is it turned on? Turn it all the way up.
Why'd you turn it down?
I'm turning it to all of it. Yeah, there you go. Now,
All of it.
and weld it, you. There you go. There you go. Safety first. Safety. Are you drunk enough that you don't need PPE? PPE. It's welding actually pretty good. Well, between him and I and the procrastination and this, that, and the other, this poor machine's been sitting here not fixed for a while. So I think Chad broke it last summer. So it hasn't really been running since last summer. And I was over here last night and he cranked on it. And listen, I think, oh, there's the key. Listen, I mean, it cranks, the battery's not dead. So let's just feed her with a little Cosby sauce and see what happens. Probably wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to actually check the oil on a machine that I don't know, or I don't own. What for, you know, I don't own it. And I don't think I can afford to replace this thing. There's a chart to let you know where to check the engine oil. Well, I'm gonna check the engine oil on the engine probably. Is there like a quick access door or some thing? So I gotta buy dinner first. Oh, there's one. Oh, it just points to the cover for. Oh, that was helpful. Check this out. She's got a dirty old slider and a little 4BT in it. What a treat. It's been leaking oil for a while, and I don't think anybody's been giving her. Have a gander at her oil. Oh, it's on the stick anyway. That's good. There's the air cleaner. There's the Cosby sauce hole. See if she'll cheat. It's actually pretty warm out today. It's probably only about 0. That's Celsius, so it's like 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not even a cold start. She'll fire. It's got a Cummins in it.
Relax, gentlemen. She's old. She'll hold.
Mint. There's the Cosby sauce.
A las demandas y a las demandas.
See what happens. No, she's not loving it. Needs more Cosby sauce.
Somebody do something! He's killing you! He's killing you!
all the sauce. Even if it did have summer diesel in it, it's pretty much like a Canadian summer out here right now. Got right to the mat. Not loving life. Oh, there she comes. Oh, huge it.
Because that's the fuel shut-off handle.
Alright, we'll let her warm up. Alrighty, well, the fucking machine owner came by and he gave me a hand because I'm a bitch and I couldn't tighten the nut. Will you say that's tight?
Sure.
What do you say about those welds?
Pretty fancy.
Professional. Oh, turn the fuel back on there. Now I learned what that is. That's the fuel switch. Happy. You want to see if she'll break out of here? Is she froze to the ground? A little bit. Alrighty, bud. We're stowing the pole. That means I'm leaving you. Job's done. That's safe, right? Oh. That didn't fuck her up your butthole, did it? I know what I'm doing half the time. We got to be in half the time right now. So yeah, you want to load me up some wood with it now? Or do you want to use the other one?
If you want, you can load yourself up.
No, no problem at all. You don't give a f if I just try to destroy this thing?
Shake hands with danger.
I'll weld it back together if I f it up. How about that? Alrighty, well, we're gonna go hook onto the trailer and then we're gonna go durability test the f out of that thing. Man, feels like I just left a Dodge truck meet. My ass is soaked. Just listen to that old Cummins. What a treat. Oh, listen to that old power smoke. What a treat.
That's got to be the best part I've ever seen. So it would seem.
Now, we'll go stick her over here and load her up. Oh yeah, I'm basically a professional equipment operator. You don't need to know what you're doing. All right, let's see if we can't break it again. Oh, that didn't work out good at all, did it?
Son of a...
Jesus Christ.
I am up the word rear. I'm pretty sure it'd have been quicker to do that by hand, but you know, I know what I'm doing. So as I load up all this wood under the forks of this thing, I got to thinking, the guy that owns this property and the guy that runs that bandsaw mill on the other pile, that mountain of wood, he put every slab in that pile by hand. Remind me never to piss that guy off.
You want to feel how hard I can punch?
Oh, you know what though? The only thing to help him out though is his white male privilege. That's the only reason he was doing it. Alrighty, well, we did a little bit of around and it didn't snap off. I'm sure they got a lot harder plans and store for this old hooer, but I mean, that's just the way she goes. And this wood laying right here, it's not laying right here. I didn't see it.
Wait a minute. Who made this big
Mess!
But yeah, no, let's just go down the county road with this definitely safe load of wood and we're good to go. You don't need to worry about tying it down. I'll just pray before I leave.
Dear Lord Baby Jesus, we also thank you for my wife's father, Chip. We hope that you can use your baby Jesus powers to heal him and this horrible leg. It smells terrible and the dogs are always bothering with it.
All right, well, I just prayed to my boy JC there.
That's because Jesus Christ is my...
He says we're good to go. That means it's basically held down. This is why you put chains on.
You don't want to always be accelerating in the red zone.
Hey, Old Man River, zip it or I'll break your hip.
Be a man.
Oh yeah, that's how you know it's good. Oh, there's barely even any wood hanging out the side. Oh, and some of it just fell off. See? Safety. High five. High five. Alrighty, well, thank the fella that owns this outfit for the load of wood and the day of fiddle. And yeah. Made her home safe and sound. Oh, a little bit of 2x4 too low action. But yeah, I'll just back her in here, dump this load of wood. I'll just take a big greasy dump here. Man. Oh, yeah, but even all the god snow that was in there. Well, Willard, are you stunned? Nothing like rolling around on a snowbank all day, burning 70-18 to make a feller want a little more bush lattes. I should have brought some lunch beers. This one's for you, Patreons. Willard, are you gonna drink some Patreon beer? Did you get it in your eye? Are you stunned? You don't want that beer? How about this? How about that? You want that? Man, you're stunned. Yeah, good day at Welding. I still don't know exactly who sent me this, but am I ever excited for my cruise? Man, it's gonna be a good time. Free drinks, all kinds of stuff. Meet all these Dodge guys. It's gonna be a good time. Isn't that right, Witter Dog? Are you stunned? Stunned dog.
And now, a Pondering with Peg.
So there's something to be learned about all this old iron I got and all this old junk that I work on and this, that, and the other and the eternal argument of Chevy, Ford versus Dodge. And no, Toyota did not make a truck. They still don't make a truck. Nissan does not make a truck. A truck is a Slave Lake variety. It's a nipple truck variety. It's a Crummins variety. Toyota, they make Taliban taxis and well, and that's about it. But going back to the eternal argument between Chev, Ford, and Dodge, at the end of the day, it really just boils down to the most important thing out of the whole truck.
An old timer once told me it's the nut that holds the wheel.
And like Tim Huff just said it, it's the nut that holds the wheel. So it doesn't matter what kind of old iron you got, it doesn't matter what the you're working with. As long as you're able to go out there and give her and make shit work, that's all that matters. So there you go. Go ahead, weld on. Don't listen to people on the internet. Don't listen to people who say you can't do. Just go out and do it. Around, find out. It's the best way to go through life.
Hell, son, you're about as useful as a flavored lollipop.
Alrighty, well, I appreciate you guys watching this derelict production of me burning the out of some 7018s and 1202 and sending the dirty old nipple truck into the danger zone. I mean, you're not gonna send the dirty old nipple truck into the danger zone. It loves that. Speaking of loving that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this derelict production. I appreciate it. And much like always, I'd like to tip my hat to the minty pricks that are keeping this dirty old boat afloat. Now we got the 10 buckers first. We got Wilson Caldwell, Zach Nielsen, Your Daddy's Gay, Hi Harlan, Tori Watson, Tyler Lucas, Tam Stojan, Robert, Ryan, Oliver Klosoff, Nick Kearson, Kisley, Josh, Jordan Chuetti, JB, Jason Peevler, Jackson West, Dick for Brains, Crumby, Crazy Nate, Craig, Mott, Colt 45, Colton Darnell, Christian Lovelace, Cameron Zebroff, Bryden Eckles, Brian Lueck, Brandon Gilliland, Bradley, Boosted Outlaw, Bob Schorenfelder, Balake, Anthony Jandal, Alex Brownrigg, Adam Smith, and Ozone Killer. We got the 15 buckers. We got Spencer Vermiley, Sean T, Phil Hayek, Julian Jester, John Hickersons, and Jim. We got 1776, Barry McCockiner. You always got to tip your hat to 1776. I mean, that guy knows. We got the 20 buckers. We got Sean Barr, Reed Greta Thunberg, Nicholas Hellberg, Nathan Morrison, Matt Dinter, Mountain27, Jen Hansworth, Hunter Perry, Gregster, Jeffrey Rockley, Aaron Hultberg, Doug Brockway, Corbin Redmond, Cody Strickland, Bryce Hanish, Brandon Fornash, ADHD, No Name, Kyle Hurd. And then we got 50 buckers. Man, you guys didn't have to do that, but you did. And I tip my hat off to you. Oh, and this bush latte is for you. What a treat. Well, the rest is mine. We got Lexicons 373 and Gary Blake. Mint. Alrighty, well, since my fat derelict ass, I guess, wasn't drunk enough, these minty pricks seen fit to give my fat hillbilly ass a raise. We got Logan, Robert Magnall, Tyson Williscroft, 1776. What a treat. Hans Lowe, Pete 386 with a 1202 raise. What a treat. Brian Andrews, Austin Manson, Brian Lueck, Quint Tillmint. That's a mint name. Brewhouse Lightning, Dylan Moore, John Gankars, Matthew Lucian, Stephen Wilson, Alex Moeller, Anthony, William Collins, Ethan Jansen, Jerk My Joystick, Spencer Kennedy, Dustin, Andrew Hughes, Sharp D, Colt 45, Jonathan Tart, Ty Baldwin 2, Dalton Fidgey, Cole, Ozone Killer, give me a raise, and he's new Patreon. Mint, Phil Hayek, Joe Smith, Alex, F350 Power Broke. That's the way she goes, buddy. I mean, just the way she goes. Michael Stewart 50, Garrett Adsit, Ian Gearing, Nick Horn, Trevor Moore, Jim, John Barrett, Stephen Cook, Joshua Hamilton, John Walls, Fat Neck 6.7, Nathan Ellis, and Kendall Goodman. Well, you meant just like to say thank you very much. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't need a liver transplant, and Willer wouldn't be that stunned. Actually, I'm just joking. He'd be that stunned anyway. Yep. We got the mic away from the dump that he was in, so it was free, wasn't it? Are you stunned? You're a good dog. How you feeling? Is stunned a feeling? Oh yeah, and all you Patreons, just so you know, there's a playlist set up for you guys for all the Slave Lake videos, a bunch of other greasy videos you didn't know about or might not know about, and yeah, they're just for you guys, because old LubeTube got a little piss pants about me keeping the swear words up on the old LubeTube for everybody to see, so now they're just in playlists for you fellers to see. Me and my main man there are going through the list and putting a bunch of other greasy ones into the list so you guys can watch them, so keep your eyes out for that. We'll be posting those on the Patreon ASAP, but for right now, just the all we got is Slave Lake, and then there's a bunch of other stuff. Well, you'll see it. It'll be posted on there. Well, anyway, fellas, once again, thank you very much, and until next time, keep your ass. Well, I'm not going to ruin the surprise, but I get a real Sassy Pants treat coming up. A real one. It's mint. Not too often that I get this frisky over a truck, but I'm pretty frisky on this one. It's going to be a good time. Maybe that's a hint. Maybe.